Well, I guess it's 8 o'clock. I don't know. Nobody signed on in the last minute or two here, so maybe this is what we've got for tonight. We had a question come in about roadside mowing, and I see Jess Bush is here. Maybe she wants to give us a little rundown on just what they ran into up there in Burke County.
Sure. Good evening. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. My husband Greg is the chairman of our township, and he has done the mowing for the last 10 or so years using our farm tractor, and our farm is incorporated. And the township owns the mower. So he's been doing it and bills it out as our farm as contract labor. It's, minimal amount for the year. And he does all of the township ditches, ours, the ones that we have land beside, and other land of other neighbors. And this year, with the fire danger around Ray and all over the state, I asked our farm insurance provider if our farm liability or if NDIRF covers in case Greg would hit a stone with the mower and cause a fire that spread. And after talking with Larry a few times and with our insurance provider, it's kind of a gray area. And the last I heard from our insurance provider, she said it's similar to if you lived in a city or in a town and you mow your boulevards. The state requires you to mow your boulevard, so therefore your homeowner's insurance more than likely would cover it, even though you don't own the boulevard. So it's still kind of up in the air, and Larry, you can help me out with this. If we do our own ditches with our own equipment, no problem. Our farm liability covers it. If we do somebody else's ditches, though, that is where the question lies. And that's why I reached out to Larry to get some clarification on this.
Yes, you run into a problem with NDIRF. If there's some compensation at all, they will not cover. They would cover somebody doing it as a volunteer without any compensation, doing things for the behalf of the township. The insurance reserve fund would cover that. But if there's $1 compensation, it becomes a contractor, and that would require separate insurance. Now, had this discussion with Tom Moe late this afternoon, and he mentioned that a few years back, when there was a lot of snow removal being done by farmers for hire, that the insurance reserve fund had a commercial endorsement or contractor endorsement available to cover people working in that situation. That came up late this afternoon. I didn't get a chance to call the insurance reserve fund to see if that program was still available, but that would be one option.
Okay, so Mary, the way I understand it then, if Greg would do this as a volunteer, NDIRF covers him doing other ditches.
Right.
For liability only. What about though if he rolled our tractor, say because of a steep ditch, would NDIRF cover the cost of our tractor repairs?
I couldn't answer that.
And then the other question would be can you charge, even though you're not charging wages, can the township pay for the diesel fuel for the tractor as a township expense?
It seems that to be viewed as compensation. I'm not positive on that. Oh, maybe if he went into the station and fueled up on billed to the township, maybe, I don't know, you'd have to take that up with NDIRF.
Okay, thank you.
This is Leon. In Headinger County, every landowner is liable to own or to mow his own ditches, period. If you don't mow them, the county will charge you $150 every half mile for not mowing, if they have to mow. That's county roads and township roads. You're responsible for all of them where your land is.
Right, that's
Every landowner is responsible.
that is the most common in the state, but in their area up there, I guess it's customary that the township does the mowing.
That's right. Several townships in our area own a mower or hire a local farmer with their own mower to do the mowing. The problem with having everybody do their own that we found in the past is some people will do a poor job, and then it makes it hard for everybody. And who's to decide that line on, okay, this isn't mowed good enough, let's call the county in and charge it to the landowner. That's a
Yeah,
difficult call.
that is the problem for each doing their own, but that is what is, as I shared with you earlier, that's the way the state law is written, that the landowner is responsible for the mowing. Oh. Well, like I said, we could look into if NDIRF does offer a contractor endorsement for that. Back in 1996, 97, we had a lot of snow here in the state, and I personally did a lot of snow blowing for the township, but I went to my insurance agent and got a commercial policy. It didn't cost me very much. It was just based on what my anticipated gross income would be from it. So just to be sure and safe on that.
Okay, I didn't even check into the price of contractor insurance. I just figured that would be very prohibitive.
Yeah, well, you just go in with, since you've done it before, you know what the gross would be, and you can ask your agent what that would run you.
Okay.
But maybe NDIRF would be more reasonable on it. We can, we'll find that out and get back to you on that.
That would be great.
Anybody else have anything to say on that?
Yes, Matt, I have a question for Leon. Leon, did you say that if the landowner doesn't mow, that then the county comes and mows? Obviously they would on a county road, but is the county then mowing your township roads?
Yeah, if you don't mow them, the county can come out. They got a ad in the paper every week in October. Or in September, you got to have all your roads mowed, or they will come and mow them and charge you. That's been that way for years and years and years.
So then
And
your
that's-
township doesn't have to get anybody to go clean up something that wasn't done. The county will
No.
do it.
No, the county will do it. They have 3 big mowers. Now, Slope County, they do all the roads, township and county. Nobody has to do anything. But Headinger County, Stark County, all them, you gotta mow your roads. The Stark County takes care of their own, the main roads because they have no township, so they take care of most all the roads. But if you don't mow them, they charge you. They'll put it right on your taxes. So, but the main state roads and stuff they have to mow are the county highways. In Headinger County, no. We even have to mow the county highway. Otherwise you get charged. And the minute we all get done mowing them, they come and go over them again. And the reason they say that's makes it so much easier for them, they can make better time. So we fought that for years, but it doesn't seem to get anywhere. But everybody's pretty good about mowing their own roads because they all want to get out. So, but that's the rule. That help you out?
Yeah, you answered my question. It doesn't tell me what my county would do. I don't know that they go out and they'll certainly go out and take care of a county road, but I don't know that they're going mowing any township roads that either don't get done or don't get done well.
Yeah. Well, see, we contract with the county for blading and for snow removal. That's why they do that. So all the roads are mowed if they got to push the snow.
Well, knowing that you got the contract with snow removal, that's certainly.
Yeah,
add to
every
your-
township has a contract. There's only a few townships in Henry County that don't, and they tried to go without, and it costs them about 10 times as much. So, because we have 32 miles of a township road, and it costs us about $5,500 a year for blading and snow removal. So it's a hell of a good deal.
I'd say you're getting a bargain.
Yeah, and some guys think that's terrible. And we told them you wouldn't get anybody to come in and even blade it once for that.
Yeah, you're
So-
getting quite a bargain. How many times a season are your roads bladed?
They just got done, I think, about the 4th time already.
Thanks for that info.
You know what you gotta do? Well, you gotta go with the blade man. He goes to the bar on Friday night. You go there and buy him a beer, and then you're in good shape.
Well, they got a
lot of
system
things that
then.
work that way.
It helps, I tell you.
In each township be charged differently in Headinger County?
Well, depending on your mileage.
Yeah, but
They-
52 miles divided by $5,500 is X amount per mile, and
Yep,
you
That's, they all,
extrapolate
it's, some of them pay a little more, some of them pay less, depending upon the roads. We have main roads from one highway to the other here in our township, so
Hmm.
don't charge you quite as much because they gotta go anyway. But about 5,500 to 6,000 is the most that any township pays. It's bad for the townships that only have 10 miles. They get charged about the same.
Oh,
Because at the end of the year, they'll give us a statement telling us how much they charged us for average per mile for the whole year. And usually it comes out to like $50 a mile or something like that, which you can't get a contractor to even look at it for that.
Nope.
But some guys still, and I say it's a hell of a deal. So,
thank you.
Eh, anybody got anything more on the mowing issue? Okay, I see we have Wayne from Lemoore County on here. Anything more happening with the data center down there? Wayne Widmer?
Sorry there. I had myself double
Yeah.
muted. I'm way in the northwest part of the county, so I hear more stuff about Lemoore or Logan County and Stutzman County than I do Lemoore County.
Okay,
The county seat's way over in the southeast end. So
well,
a couple things. You were when we were talking about mowing there. our county mows only if it's a paved county road. County roads and township roads that are gravel are landowner responsibility for mowing. I've never seen the county come out and mow or touch up mow any of those. I suppose if we would, as the township would call Lemoore and say, hey, this Bob didn't mow his ditches, they might do something about it. More than likely, they would tell us to do something about it and charge Bob to mow his ditch. You know, like we would be responsible as a township to hire somebody to mow that ditch. So it's a little different there. Also on the blading, I think our blading is done like 8 times a year. And also we contract for snow removal for the county, from the county. So, but I'm pretty sure the roads are bladed about 8 times a year. So a little bit different.
Yeah, every county seems to operate their own way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here in Trail County, the county doesn't do anything for the townships. We have to have everything contracted. And my own township here, we're getting we get bladed every 3 weeks through the summer. So pretty regular on that.
I'm trying to get a little less blading done. They pull a device around that kind of spreads the gravel out on the road better than a blader. As long as you don't have washboards or ruts, I think that's better and it's cheaper. So I'm trying to get our township to do that like every 4th time or something, or at least the first time in the spring and once during the summer.
Okay.
That would, I can't remember what he called it, a groomer, or I think it's a groomer. But pulled both ways. It did a nice job of leveling out the gravel and cleaning up the roads. And it was probably only 30% of the hours. They charge us by the hour down here, not by the mile. So
Okay.
it seemed like a good deal for us.
Well, that might be a savings in cash and in gravel.
I hope. Yeah, the gravel usually ends up thrown in the ditch in the wintertime. So I don't know if it helps us or not, but it spreads it out a little. It makes it better.
Well, every little bit helps. Anything more on mowing or maintenance, maintaining? Well, thank you, Wayne, for that. Anybody else got any topics they wanna throw out to the group?
Oh yeah, I had a question in my township well, it was last week. And I was researching it and I got out the handbook and I looked in there and I went online and I looked there and I couldn't find an answer. And I got a hold of Tim Gainert, who's part of the Township Officers Association for the state. And he couldn't find the answers either. So it's like, where, as a township officers organization, who's your expert? I mean, who's the go-to for helping out guys like me that don't know this stuff?
Well, it's, usually the district directors or myself that help, and then we have backup with our attorney. What, do you mind sharing your question?
Sure, but I want to add a little more to my frustration or whatever my problem was. I couldn't find the answer. Tim couldn't help me find the answer. Looked in the handbook, couldn't find the answer. Looked up where the guy that the county lawyer, or what is it, township lawyer, or whatever, he writes in the grassroots report, quarterly magazine or whatever. And all there was for an address from him. I mean, there wasn't even an email address where he could shoot him a question. And I
Well,
thought,
the questions are supposed to come through either the district directors or me.
Okay. Okay. Uh, so is that published somewhere where it says, hey, if you have questions that you can't find the answers to, get a hold of Larry or Bob or whoever it should
Well,
be?
I guess that's just been the way it's
Yeah.
It's in the grassroots.
It does say who to get a hold of with questions?
Everybody's phone number is in there. Every district,
Except for the county lawyer guy, and that's who I was looking to.
the county lawyer,
Or what's his name?
Tom.
Tom,
Yeah, well,
Tom.
he's a lawyer. He doesn't want to give anybody his number.
Oh, right, right. So I mean, that's the only place I looked. I saw everybody else's phone numbers in there, but you know, and again, being new to this, it's like, well, I don't know why I would call Larry. Larry's the president. He should be delegating things out to the lawyer and the treasurer and the secretary and whoever else. I'm not sure. I didn't know he would be the expert, you know. So I was thinking that would be the expert, would have been the lawyer guy. But I didn't see that. I didn't see anything that directed me to say, hey, if you can't find an answer, email Larry. You know. So
okay, well, we'll
What's
take
the
that under
question?
advisement.
the question is not a question, it's an opportunity for improvement. Can there be something in there or something on the online page, you know, in the North Dakota Township Officers Association that says, hey, if you can't find your answers anywhere else, email Larry and Larry will get you the expert's name or something, you know, because I basically came to a dead end. Well, who do I ask next? You know,
Who is your district township
Tim Gaynor, Tim
Tim?
Gaynor, and he couldn't
call
find
him?
he couldn't find the answer either. And then he called and he sent me some links. He said, well, check here in the township manuals or the North Dakota Township Officers Association webpage, and I couldn't find the answer there either. So again, I ended up at a dead stop when I didn't know where to go with it. So I mean, anything on the page or in the grassroots report or whatever, something in there saying, hey, if you can't find an answer, you know, email everybody on the board. I don't know, whatever it should be.
Okay,
That's
we'll
I'm just asking for something. Where do you go next? You know, when I don't know the answer, where do I go next?
What was the question that you needed answered?
Oh, the question was, it was somebody was planting trees along a quarter line and they don't own both sides. They was wondering if there was a setback requirement for the tree growth.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Every county, go to your county auditor. They should be able to tell you because you got to have a permit for that. Very simple. Ours is 200
Okay.
feet.
okay, that would be the setback,
Yep.
which is in part of your zoning ordinance.
but if we're not zoned, and we're not,
The county would tell you what you are.
okay.
The county probably has nothing to do with their township road.
Well, it's not a road; it's a quarter line.
Yeah.
Well, it's still, a quarter line is not,
Yeah, see, on a section line or a road, you have at least a 33 feet setback from each side of the center. But on a
Right.
quarter line between two quarters owned by different people, is there a requirement for a setback?
The way I understand it, if you don't have township zoning, then it's the county zoning. And your county zoning should have in their county zoning handbook or minutes, notes, setbacks for everything, anything from trees to buildings no matter if you own both quarters or if it's you and somebody else that owns a quarter, there's always a setback. There can always be a waiver or a variance signed if it needs to be closer to the setback doesn't fit. Then you can have variances or waivers signed that both parties agree it's okay to have it closer to the line.
Okay, so for my next step should be contact the county auditor.
The county, yes, your county zoning commission.
Yeah, there
And
should
the
be,
county auditor would be able to
Yep.
tell you who that is.
and there should be a guy that would permit you, would have, you have, we just set up another bin site on a quarter line. And you had to be, from the township road, you had to be 200 feet back, and from the quarter line, you had to be 200 feet back in Hedrian County. Every county is different on that. But we
Right.
had to have a permit, and they had to inspect it to make sure that we were 200 feet away from the roads.
So your 200 feet is a county zoning requirement,
Yes.
not a township zoning
Well,
requirement.
yeah, the township, the county takes care of everything in Heddinger County, period.
Yeah. I think in the way I understood it when we talked about zoning a couple of years ago was if your township is not zoned, then you default to the county zoning rules. Is that
That's
correct?
right.
Okay.
And we did that. They did, every county, every township in Heddinger County did that years ago. There's only one township in our county that's zoned different. Everything else is zoned agricultural, period.
Okay. Well, that answers some of my
But
questions.
every township or every county has a different setback. I know that from around here.
Right.
Because you see
Yeah.
all these bin sites along roads. And some of them are way in and some of them are right up by the road. That's all because every county is different.
Mhm.
You'd think there'd be property line setbacks that would be a
Yeah,
step. Just property line, you have to be so far away from the neighbor's
Right.
property line.
Well, I will ask that question tomorrow then. Okay, it helps.
it might take a while to get an answer.
It might, because they might not know where to look either. I don't know. Maybe they do.
Okay, is there anything else out there? Well, there was some question at the last meeting about building a township budget. And we were hoping that that Julie Brandvold could be here to discuss the ATLR program a little bit, but turns out that Ward County is having their Ward County Township Officers meeting tonight, so the Brandvolds are at that. So I'll go over what I've got here, a little Excel spreadsheet that I put together to help build budgets for me. The main thing, well, it really helps when you're going to build a budget to know your history. If you've got a few years of your financial statements and can go through what you have been spending on the various topics and what your income has been. As you'll see here, this has columns for the last 4 or 5 years, and then columns to budget the next 2 years. And you have to have your beginning balance each year, and then your different income categories, what you've been getting in your levy, your township mileage payments, state aid distributions, telecom payment, interest earned, and other receipts. And that will give you your revenue for the year. And then your various expenses, your salaries, dues, legal notices, blading and graveling, road repair and culverts, snow removal, insurance expense, etc. And that'll give you your disbursements. And then you forecast your ending balance. And of course, that goes up to your beginning balance the next year, and you go through, you list all your incomes and expenses, and then you get a picture of what each of these items will run, and that helps you forecast what you are going to need in the next couple of years. And then you look at them and say, well, that $45,000 or in graveling and blading was too much. We'll cut it down. We don't need quite that much, or it was not enough. We can add to it, and then you put your numbers together. And then there are some considerations. Once you have figured out what your total disbursements are going to be for the year, as it says here in the $67,485 in disbursements. Well, in state law, you can your cash reserves, you can hold a cash reserve amounting to 75% of your total appropriations. And I put down 25%, and that would be another $16,000, $16,871 dollars for a cash reserve. And that that would mean you need $84,356, but you have $46,475 or $70 that you would need to raise through a levy. Or I should say, minus that, you would need $37,886. I can't read. You'd have to levy $37,000. But you can also have 5% of the required levy as an allowance for delinquent taxes. That would amount to another $1,894. So the total amount levied would have to be about $39,780. Now, if you know your taxable value of your township, here I've got $1,750,000. At that value, the mill rate would be 22.73 mills. And a $100,000 residence would be taxed $102.29. $100,000 worth of farmland would be taxed $113.66. So you see, that's you would have to have the excess levy authorized. In order to do that, you'd have to have the special vote in your township to do that. If you can't do that, you'd have to cut down your expenses. You'll go back up to the blading and gravel, and we'll cut that down to $20,000. And you see that dropped the mill rate down to 3.98. So we can go up a little bit more there. 30,000. We're up to 11.48 mils. And the taxes on a $100,000 residence would be 51.67 dollars. $100,000 for the farmland would be taxed $57.41. So anybody have any questions on this?
Where can we get a copy of the spreadsheet?
I can email it to you.
That'd be perfect.
Okay. And I have another one. If you're in a non-oil county and you want to qualify for the for a flex fund grant in the set aside group, you have to be at 18 mils at least. And then I have a little calculator that can figure out how much more you have to increase your levy to qualify for that. The problem with qualifying for the with the 18 mils, you have to have the current valuation, taxable valuation of your township at the end of the year. And it's hard to judge that because they go up all the time. And if you levy to hit 18 mils back in March, the total valuation goes up in October and you're under 18 mils and you cannot qualify for the grants. So if your township auditor will accept an over the limit budget, that's the simplest thing. And you put down another $5,000-$10,000 worth of gravel in your budget, and if it goes over, the county auditor will stop the levy at 18 if the request is for more than what would be 18 mils. Some auditors insist that the budget cannot be more than 18 mils, or they won't accept it. That can be a problem. The only way you can handle that then is to have a special meeting of the township to revise the budget in September to increase it then enough to qualify at 18 mils. Any questions on his budget procedures here? Anybody wants these spreadsheets? If you just shoot me an email at larry.com, larry.ndtoa@gmail.com, and I can send you the two of those. So any more discussion on budget building? Levies?
Yeah, this is Wayne from Glen again.
Yeah.
Figured as long as I'm here, I might as well talk, right? What the hell?
That's what we're here for.
Could you just paste that budget and I forget even what it's called for the extra spreadsheet you had? Isn't there a place on your NDTOA homepage for resources or shared information?
Yeah, so I guess I could do that too, yeah.
And then, I mean,
Yep.
maybe, in your quarterly letter or something, you can say, hey, this is where this stuff is going to be stored. Anybody can have it or whatever.
Yeah, okay, I'll put it on there under resources.
Thank you.
Okay, well, anything, there's no more discussion on the budgets. Is there anything else we want to talk about or anything you want to suggest that we bring up next at the next meeting?
I'll take a stab at a budget related question. So I'm just pulling numbers out of the air for the sake of the conversation. I think, I don't know if it's common practice or not, but when I'm the clerk treasurer in my township, and when I first took the position and we were first going through the budget, one of the things I remember hearing from the veterans on the board was you always want a budget higher so that you get your full 18 mills. Okay, we don't have an excess levy, but we just want to make sure we get our full 18 mills. So our county allows us to submit a budget that's over, if you will, and then we get the 18 mills. So I'm going to say that in our township, our 18 mills gets us about $10,000. Well, we actually got some prairie dog money, for example, and a couple other things, special things that Bismarck did to help us out. We've got a decent reserve. What if, okay, we don't ever want to have another Measure 4 vote, so let's only ask for 5,000 this year instead of the 10,000. So now, instead of asking for 18 mills, we're only going to get 9. But then a year down the road, hey, we got to go back and we better get all 18 mills again. If you go down 1 year, can you go back up and recoup the entire amount in succeeding years? Or are you limited in how much you can increase the levy, if you will, from year to year? What's your reaction? Maybe my question doesn't even make sense. We're good this year, we're only going to ask for $5,000. But next year, all of a sudden, oh, things aren't so good, we better go back to 10. Can you do that?
You certainly can. The just submit a budget and approve your budget at your township annual meeting. And you can raise and lower it up to the 18 or back down to 1 if you want. You can go up and down every year as you please, or as you can pass your annual meeting vote.
The only potential drawback then would be in those cases where you're required to levy the full 18 or the full amount in order to get some special kind of help or assistance. Is that accurate?
Yes, there is one other stipulation too, that the township mileage payment that the townships get every quarter, by law, you have to be levying a like amount. You have to be levying that much on your own in order to get that from the state.
What does that mean, a like amount? A like amount to what?
Well, whatever your township mileage payment is each quarter, you're supposed to be levying that much in taxes.
Okay.
Any other?
Those mileage payments then are tied back to the road miles that we claim. I think that's is like every even numbered year or something like that. Is that road mileage payment based on the number of miles that we submit?
That is correct. That's on your certified maintained miles. Anything, any further questions?
I was just gonna say something. I was talking to Jerry Klein, my senator from District 14, and he said that he had heard that there's like 45 bills already been introduced for the legislature in regards to property tax. So you guys hearing stories like that? I mean, everybody says now we gotta fix it some way. So I don't know what you're hearing out there in the countryside.
Well, about 10 days ago, I heard it was 40 bills, so it's growing.
Went from 40 to 45.
Yeah.
Probably be 145 by the time they get done down there.
Well, there's what, 144 of them legislators, so they each have to have their own.
Yeah, well, I think they're gonna have to figure out something, but I don't know what they're gonna come up with.
Yeah. Well, they'll probably eliminate the income tax and call that good.
That solves all the problems.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the
Well,
land values just keep going up. Every time there's a land sale out here, it's higher.
Yeah, but your property tax doesn't go up by that amount, Leon.
Well, it does in the end.
No, not as drastic. We just had a land sale here for $6,000 an acre, and there's no land in our county valued over $1,000 an acre. So right now it hasn't affected it dramatically, but it will have an impact, but not dollar for dollar like you're saying.
Oh, no, but I mean, it's gonna affect.
Well, there's a big complicated formula that NDSU uses to calculate that, and it has an effect on it, but it's a pretty minute effect. We're pretty blessed in North Dakota that we have what
Oh,
we.
yeah, it's pretty good, actually, really.
You're living in Minnesota, you'd find out what property taxes really are.
Yeah, or like in Illinois where our cousins are, it's 10,000 a quarter.
And that's what you pay taxes on, probably.
Mhm. But they buy land for 17,000 to $20,000 an acre too. So
Yeah.
if you figure it out, they're actually paying less than we are. But they got.
Well, I
I
don't
don't know
know
how
what
they
the
do it.
answer is, but we're not as bad off as some states.
No,
no, definitely.
It bites when you write the check, but it still could be a whole lot worse. I think what they need to do in this state is got to come up with a way to better fund education, so not as much of it comes off of property tax. That's my take on the whole deal.
Well, actually, they have taken over a
Well,
large
they've
part
taken
of
over
it,
quite a bit of it, but
but
it's
the cost,
still 50% of most of our taxes is 50% of it's mostly going to schools. In some
well,
places,
the costs have gone up
Right.
faster than the
Right.
legislatures applied any help to the problem.
Well, that's like true to everything. Expenses
Right.
keep going up. Mhm.
So,
Well, it'll be interesting.
yes, it will.
yeah, they'll concentrate on property tax and they won't get anything else done.
Well, even if they just get something done there, would be a good thing.
I doubt if they will.
Well, I
They'll
think
fight till the end.
they will, because I think they know that if they don't do something, it will come back again. This time it might
Well,
I was surprised it went down as bad as it did.
No, it's too.
Well, anything further?
Larry, I have a suggestion. I see on the tentative schedule for the state convention, you're gonna have a mock annual meeting. Possibly. One thing that I know I'm the clerk and treasurer. I know that a lot of the supervisors in our area are confused on is what type of business is done at the annual meeting versus what type of business is done at a supervisor's meeting, and who makes motions at each. I mean, I realize I've tried to explain to them they're all public meetings. At annual meetings, is a different subset of people who can make motions than it is at the supervisor meetings. And some of that stuff kind of gets lost in the shuffle. That would be one thing when you do your mock-up to explain the difference in the supervisor's meeting to an annual meeting.
Right, that would be a big part of it. Of course, the annual meeting of the township, you invite all the electors of the township can come. They can all make motions, second motions, and they can vote. Oh, and the township annual meeting is where your budget for the next year has to be approved. And of course, they elect the board. That's the two main functions of the township annual meeting. And of course, they receive all reports from the officers, and they establish the priorities for the township. That the board has to work to satisfy. Oh, does that help at all, or?
Yes, that's the way I understand it too, but our township, we have 8 adults that live in our township, so it's, and 3 children, so our committees definitely have overlap. Our zoning committee, our supervisors, and our, people that show up at the annual meeting are all the same people. So sometimes when we run our meetings, they talk about the wrong thing at the wrong meeting, but I just like do my notes the way they should be. And they go, wait a minute, we talked
Yeah.
about that. You've got this in the wrong order. I said, no, you guys did it in the wrong order. This is the way it should be.
Well, yeah, when you have a small group like that, it's it can be a little bit
Yes, they kind of forget which hat they're supposed to put on at which time and part of the meeting. We adjourn one and then do a supervisor's meeting to follow through at the annual meeting decisions.
right. When you have that small a group, it may seem silly to have to follow rules about, procedures
Yeah.
that way, because it's all just almost like a family dinner.
Yes, I know. And I'm a rule follower and they make fun of me, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, we'll
will the annual convention be and the annual meeting be available by Zoom?
yes, we intend to stream it on Zoom.
Okay,
The announcement in the grassroots report indicates that we will stream it on Zoom, but don't expect to participate in the meeting by Zoom.
I get you.
It will be view only, because we have too much trouble trying to run a in-person meeting and a Zoom meeting at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
It's that has resulted in failures of the entire system several times for us. So yeah, it'll be on Zoom and hopefully recorded and available on the website after.
Good. I didn't catch that in the grassroots, but that's good. Good to know.
Okay. Thanks for the question. Anything else out there?
Well, I have two more questions if we could take them or
Please.
stand for them.
Please.
First one's about snow removal. Is the township obligated to remove snow on township roads?
Not really. I wish the lawyer was here to give his fine points on that. Uh,
I
It's,
could see maybe there's a priority or, mail routes, school bus routes. Some of those things would have a higher priority and a higher urgency or something like that, but we've got township roads where maybe it's an empty nester couple living down on the end of that road and their mailbox is out on the county road. So they're not on a mail route, they're not on a school bus route any longer. I have an opinion about should the township be providing maintenance in the winter for that road, but is there a requirement or an obligation or does it have to be done?
well, the lawyer usually says it's a political decision. In other words, it's something you do to keep your people happy. Oh,
I thought there was some regulation that for fire and emergency vehicles, for a resident, they have to be open. It's if there's nobody living on a particular road, then it can be no winter maintenance, but if there's occupied houses for
Well,
emergency
that's-
services.
right. If there's no occupied dwellings along a road, you can classify that as minimum maintenance. And you can put up signs to that effect that basically warns the public that not to expect the greatest maintenance on that road. It doesn't say no maintenance. It has to be, maintained enough to keep the grass from growing over the top of the road. Stuff like that, but it would not have to be a serviced at the same level as your priority routes. And of course, the township board will have to set priorities for snow removal. Where it has to be opened first and where you're just gonna let the snow lay. If it's not a necessary route, that's not very high priority, so. I know it, not a real firm answer there, Matt, but that's kind of what I get from the lawyer.
Yeah, I anticipated as much. I do have a section line question. Section line, not a road. Basically, both ends of the section line are impassable, water. Does a landowner on either side of this section line have to provide access to get to where there's a road or something like that? For example, do you have to allow access through a pasture or something like that to get to a section line? Because in this case, both the north and the south ends of the section line are impassable, permanent water.
And there hasn't been a trail around the lake or the slough or whatever to get in there?
No.
Okay, well then it's gonna be hard to require that access. Um, Usually, if there was any need for it, there would have been a route around the lake or whatever, meandering off of the section line. And this is where we recommend that if you have one of those situations, that you should get an easement from the landowner for the township to maintain a road around off of the section line. Get it into an easement and signed if you have a willing landowner. If there's
Gotcha.
no willing landowner, no. He doesn't have to provide an access to a road that has nowhere to go.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks for the help.
Anything? Any other questions out there? Well, I thank you for joining us here, this little experiment. This is our fourth go around at it, and I think we're serving a purpose here. We hope that this thing can grow and be a resource for township officers. I know people are busy. We've had some issues getting the word out about this here tonight. We had we put out that email yesterday, and 445 of the addresses bounced. The message did not go through, so it's not easy getting word out there anymore. And the printed newsletter is somewhere in the process of going out. That doesn't happen very quick anymore either, so it is really difficult getting word out in a timely manner anymore. That's why we really hope the email could be more dependable, and it's definitely faster if you can get through. So, like I said, thank you for joining us here tonight, and if you have anything you'd like us to work on for the next Township Tuesday, let me know, and we'll include it in the program. Anybody got any closing comments out there?
Let's
I
go
think
back
a
to
lot-
budgeting. I use the ATLR software and the tabs or whatever for working on the budget with the ATLR software really make that easy to do. So I'm not, this is not a paid endorsement, but if you got an opportunity to, and I believe in my county, the county decided they're paying for it and making it available to all the townships who want to use it. I would suggest use it. It's made things a lot simpler, at least for me and my job in the township.
Yeah, I use it for my township. It's it really does a nice job, and I know my county auditor really likes it a lot better than the pencil written forms that she used to get from our treasurer, which were not that easy to read, and the math wasn't always right. And so, yeah, it's a big improvement out of hand-drawn forms. So, well, if there's nothing else for the good of the order, we'll proceed to signing off then for the evening. So thank you again for joining us, and we hope to have something put together for next month.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Right.
Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.